Hi, my name's Sean Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. We are Avatar The Last Podcasters, and we're bringing you a very special episode that applies to literally everyone biologically and in other ways too. It's our Mother's Day special. I almost said annual Mother's Day special, which I guess could be true. TBD. No, just regular Mother's Day special. We are going to talk about the best moms in Avatar. In fact, we're going to rank the best moms in Avatar, and it's going to be very exciting, but we're not going to do it until I ask Chris how he's doing.
I am doing good, Sean. I'm watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine lately, which is pertinent because Andy Samberg is in that, and I love Andy Samberg. So there's nothing Andy Samberg's been in that I didn't at least like. Even his bad movies are like not bad movies; they're good movies, like Hot Rod.
They're
Not important.
intentionally, like,
Yeah,
ironically bad, kind of, I guess.
yeah.
I loved
Um,
Hot Rod.
but I love Andy Samberg's SNL days, which reminds me of his Mother's Day song with Justin Timberlake, the Mother Lover song, which has been in my head like since I was like, all right, we're gonna do this episode.
When you
And
told
like
me
what
you had a tangent, I didn't know you were going to start talking about Mother Lover on our family-friendly
it's so
podcast. It's catchy is the issue. It's super
oh gosh.
catchy. You know, all the
There's
songs are stupid catchy.
oh I love them. Like they're to me they're actually like good songs. But there's one lyric in it for some reason that just cracks me up every time. Like, right, so anyone who doesn't know, it's these two guys who forgot Mother's Day. They didn't give their mother a present. And then, the song is about what they're gonna give them. And, and they end up so they talk about their mom, and the lyric goes, see, Justin Timberlake's character is like, my mom's been so alone ever since my daddy left. No one to love her right. Life has put her to the test. And then Andy Samberg's character comes in and I know just what you mean. My mom's been all sad and gray. My dad can't satisfy her in the bedroom ever since he passed away. For some reason, that lyric just like always cracks me up.
It's
But
not my favorite, but I think as far as like having a genuinely good beat and everything to it, Mother Lover might be the
yeah,
best of the group. It's not my
yeah,
favorite. I like that it's not gay in a three-way because it has that line about Payless Shoe
yeah.
Source
Well,
in it.
oh yes, thank you, Sean. I was gonna bring that up too. When that song came out, so
We
we would
were
have our
so
Monday.
excited.
Well, so let's see. I think I was in men's at the time.
It
Was
was
I? No, I was not in
2013,
men's. I was not in men's at the time, but men's shoes. And so like
2013 or 2014.
I'm not sure. So
I don't
so I
know.
remember in
I was
that.
looking for one or the other, not a yes. Let me look.
Oh, so, I don't. So in that song, he goes like, I met this girl last week at the Payless Shoe Source, and like he's holding up a boot. It's the Wheat Cheyenne boot, lot number 10771.
Is that the
And I
Latin lot or
remember
the American lot?
that's the American lot number
Okay.
because I was an analyst in men's boots and sandals and all the other men's really. And so like our job as an analyst was to send the shoe out. So I was directly responsible for sending that shoe to that store that they bought that because they're holding up the boot. But
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I had no idea. The it's astounding the fond memory that I have for that song from working in that place at that time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
It was
find
great. Yeah.
what year it came out. I think it was before I started working there. So it came out in 2011, so I hadn't gone to the office yet. Um, One thing that makes me think of is that I was looking for images, or I was going to look for images to plug into our PowerPoint to use, and I just very innocently I just typed in "moms in Avatar: The Last Airbender," and you know what, Chris? There's a lot of weird art out there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's a poor choice. So I didn't do that, and now there's not really many pictures in my PowerPoint. Just so you know. Oh, hey, one of my friends. I gotta shut that off. You can see my friends and what they're playing. Wonder what he was playing. Beat Saber.
I guess no. I can't see that.
He's playing Beat Saber. Anyway, that was a beautiful tangent. I'm really glad we got to talk about Lonely Island and Brooklyn
So,
Nine-Nine, which is a show that I did eventually fall in love with. I don't have any other segues. Let's rank some
No?
moms. Let's do them.
Let's put some loving on some moms, but not that type of loving.
It's
The thing is, in the net song, in the three-way song, when they meet each other, they're like, "Your mom said hi, Jinx," and then
that's
it's
the first line of the song, isn't it?
yeah,
When they
yeah,
walk out of the doors.
yeah.
There happens to be 15. Chris, I threw one curveball in there at you at the very beginning, so it's not impactful. I just thought it was funny. And there's 15. We'll go worst to best. This was, 99.9% Chris's work, but it, like, our rankings, like, it wasn't really a debate. It was just a discussion.
Yeah.
Not the usual where sometimes we go back and forth or anything like that. But 99% Chris's work. I might even subtitle this episode, Sean needs to read more comics and stuff. But anyway, let's get to number 15, which is my curveball, which isn't as funny now as it was at the time when I added it. I put the mother of
Mm.
faces on there.
You know what? I thought about adding her because she does have mother in her name. I feel like we should add her in the mother of faces.
Spirit mothers are mothers too, Chris. I don't know how good of
That is,
one she is because she raised a horrible, monstrous creature. So I'm just going to skip over her and go to the real number
oh,
14.
real quick, one that I did put in there was the saber-toothed moose lion. This is probably the only animal mother we see.
Trying to think of other impactful. I'll think about it. But
Yeah.
that's certainly the only one off the top of my head. So,
Yeah.
mother of faces, I presume that you're a terrible mother because you raised one awful spirit child, very temperamental. Number 14.
Okay, so number 14, and this list is what we think is not necessarily our favorite mothers, but from best to worst as being mothers. So number 14 is Michi. It's funny, my sister's name is Michi. Well, it's her nickname, but anyway, not important. Which is May's May's mother, and to me she's the worst mother here apparently. To me she didn't um, she didn't keep her child May from being a terrible person. You know, she didn't treat her rough and wrong. And also, you know, May talked a lot about how her parents' parenting style like kind of put her down a lot. And I mean, I would think her mother was, you know, a big part of that, at least half of that. And so yeah, so she's ranked last. And the thing about the mothers here is that this list was hard to do because the fathers are far more impactful on their children's lives. I think negative or positive, probably more so
Mostly
negative.
negative. Mostly negative.
Not negative. Than the mothers are. Like we get to a certain point in this list, so I'm just like, yeah, all these mothers are pretty good, but Michi, not a good mother.
It's a good point to call out now. A recurring theme is going to be like, hey, what little we have on this person. And in this case, it's not good. There's like no redeeming qualities ever called out. It's all maybe worth calling out that May eventually, kind of turns a corner. Maybe not for like good, right, wrong reasons, but she does eventually. Okay, number 14, Michi. Number 13.
Number 13, Poppy Bayfong, which is Tao's mom, which is an interesting name, Poppy. She's fairly, I don't know, non-existent. I feel like her impact on Toph was just kind of reaction or just going along with um, how he wanted to parent Toph. But, you don't get credit for her being just the accomplice. You're also responsible for that.
There's a phrase for it. I can't think of it, but guilty by association.
Complicit?
Complicit. Well, same concept though, right?
Yeah.
Apathy is the enemy here.
Yeah, and so Tao's mom, didn't believe in her child, didn't let her be a child, didn't let her have friends, just wanted to overprotect her, and just didn't see her for the child that she was. Side note, she did eventually raise Su Yin, which would sort of come up later, because Toph gets to a certain point where she's like, just go stay with your grandmother. And so they must reconcile at some point. Well, Toph did reconcile with her father in the comics, but so she must reconcile with her mother also.
I would not have put Poppy quite this low. Ultimately, it's pretty low impact, and Felt like your logic was good. But the one credit I'm going to give her is at least that her actions, even if they were bad, it does seem like they at least came from a fairly good place, like a
Mm,
protective
that's
place.
true.
But
That's true.
you got to take responsibility for the outcome, the results of your actions, also. So I, ultimately I get it. It's pretty low impact because she's a bad mom, either way.
Yeah. Number 12, Jessa from Kyoshi novels. She is Avatar Kyoshi's mother. And this, I think, is really, really interesting. First of all, Jessa is a
Yeah.
crook. Yeah, she's part of a criminal underground syndicate. Um, but and she abandoned Kyoshi, on I forget what that town is called. It eventually becomes Kyoshi's Island. Um, she abandoned her and her husband Hark, abandoned Kyoshi, and I mean, they didn't like leave. All they left her was that chest with the metal fans and like a book for codes and stuff for getting in to the Dalfei, and somewhere to meet maybe the Fine Opera Company. But the book doesn't tell you exactly why they left her. But I think as you as a viewer can kind of assume that they left Kyoshi because they knew she was the Avatar, and because they were crooks. They felt like they probably couldn't raise her and to be a good Avatar. The book honestly uh, doesn't even, I think, imply this to a certain extent. But I think you can take this away. And the reason why I say you can take this away is because they were fairly good parents to Lek. Like they adopted Lek. Like Lek, it was such a good moment in the book when Kyoshi and and Lek are like, that was such good great writing because Lek is like, oh, Jess and Hark were like great. Like they were, they took after me and everything because Lek was like an orphan that they took in. And Kyoshi's like, F them. I don't give a crap about them. And those two just butted heads a lot. But then they, spoiler, they eventually um come to really respect and admire and really cherish one another until tragedy strikes.
I
Oh
would,
man.
as happens in those books,
Yeah.
I I would not argue or disagree with your statement, or at least the one I would agree with is I don't think that's implied in the book that they knew she was the Avatar. I don't think that's implied in any way. I just sort of presume that they thought maybe she would have a better life as not a crook.
Yeah.
I,
I
I don't.
just if it wasn't for the leg piece, because to me, why would you raise a child and be fairly loving towards that child? Um, and why would you abandon another child that was your blood child unless you had a good reason for abandoning her?
I'd say
But
pe-
no, they didn't.
pe-
They didn't imply that
people
in the.
change. Maybe Lek was
No,
like
that's
on
true.
his deathbed. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
why I'm saying I couldn't argue with your reason, and I'm totally okay with it. I just would never
yeah.
say it was implied. I don't think.
No,
Uh,
I don't think it was implied either. I'm putting one and two together to make possibly four.
but no, in general though, I still like the rationale there, and it creates a really neat backstory of like, hey, our kid is the Avatar. Wait a minute,
We are.
this don't
We,
suit our lifestyle very well. Hey, remember when I
yeah.
left the Airbenders because I wanted to steal stuff? Yeah, I think I've got an idea of how to treat this child.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jessa, but we know there's good parenting skills in there somewhere,
Yeah.
like legit
Um,
ones.
man, I need to re-listen to the audiobook of Rise of Kyoshi or just reread it, probably re-listen to it. I love
Uh,
that moment at the end of Shadow of Kyoshi where Kyoshi sees like just an airbender lady with arrows and she's like, no, 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 this can't be it. Like she runs away from Yang Chen because she thinks it's her mother.
yeah,
And
it kind of
then
messed with my mind a little bit the first time I read it.
and then the writing is so good in that moment because then Yang Chen is like, it says like, even though they just, and then Kyoshi realizes that it's Yang Chen, and then the writing says like, even though they just realized the contrary, Yang Chen says, "My child, like I'm sorry," or something to that effect. Like, and Yang Chen like gives her a hug, like, oh, that's so good. Yang Chen would have been. I just want more Yang Chen stuff. Anyway, go read.
I want more violent Yang Chen. Let's get a rated R. No, go read those books though. Definitely go read the first one. I'm still like lukewarm on the second, but I say read them both.
I love I love the first one way more, but
Yeah.
I love the second one because it just provided so much context to the Avatar universe. As within the story, just within itself, wasn't as interesting to me as the first one.
I,
But
I think that's really what put the actual story bit itself isn't as good, but
mhm.
the lore is still awesome.
Yep. Okay, so number 11, Toph Beifong. This is rough, right? Like Toph is fan favorite character,
She
but I
could have
would
been
not.
lower. Have we? I mean, it's hard to say that, but when I was
It
thinking about who to move around, I was like, did we ever see one good Toph mom moment?
That's a very good question. So let's talk about Toph's parenting style. First, let's talk about how she was raised, because I think that influenced a lot about her parenting styles. Her parents were very restrictive. Her parents made her stay in the house. Toph was the opposite of that. She just let her kids kind of do what they wanted to do. So Lin Beifong, and for some reason, I get the sense that Toph didn't give them enough attention. Because Lin Beifong was like, you know what, I'm gonna be like my mom. I'm gonna become a police. I'm gonna work under her and everything, and eventually become chief. And so she was like doing that side of Toph that was, um, protecting rules and protecting laws and governing and stuff like that. And then Suyin just had so much freedom. She was the opposite. She was like Toph when she was a child, right? Because Toph didn't care. Toph was breaking laws. She didn't care about anything. So Suyin was so much more like her. And Toph, not knowing what a good parent's supposed to do, treated. I don't think she was the greatest mother, right? When Suyin, got in trouble and stuff with the law, Toph just swept it under the rug and was like, "You gotta go stay with your grandma. Like you can't be here." Um, she didn't try and handle the situation herself, right? And also the thing about parenting is oftentimes the thing that one sibling hates, I think, most is that when you don't treat them the same, right? Um, Su Yin just got off without, much of a punishment, and 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 uh, and Lynn felt, almost betrayed by that. Like she felt like, how is this? Like why should I always get off on these things? So like, I still bring up with my sisters. Like I'm sure I had the worst whoopings out of my family. Um, but one time, my two older sisters were fighting. I think they were play fighting. They were play wrestling in the hallway. They like then bumped into the wall and made a huge, like I say, Ninja Turtle size dent and shell
It's a
in
half
the
shell
wall. It
indentation.
was. It seemed like one of the Ninja Turtles took a half shell to the wall, and we were all like, me and my other sister, like, "Ooh, y'all about to get it," and they never got a whooping, and we're still bringing that up to this day. So, but my dad was, most of the time he's fairly consistent. There was one time I should have got whooped that I didn't get whooped. Although there was another time that I did get whooped that I feel like I shouldn't have got whooped. Not important.
It all
Point
washes
being,
out when the intentions are good. It washes out sometimes, maybe. I don't know.
Toph never seemed consistent with her children. Um, and yeah, we've never seen really an image of Toph being a good mom until afterwards, until she's really old, until her kids are like 40 years old, right? Toph is like, she pretty much apologizes
Yeah, and then she's
to
got
them.
some maybe more motherly traits, even toward not a ton, even toward Korra, but you see some growth of human in there, maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry, Toph. We still like you.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that it's not like it's bad writing, right? I think it's actually good writing.
It's real
To me,
characters, it's real
it's
people.
exactly like I
Also,
wouldn't, I wouldn't change it.
if you I love my parents. I had a lovely childhood, but my grandma was like the spoiled grandma. Like she's a stereotype grandma. So if I had caused trouble and then gotten to go live with grandma, I'd be like, all right, nice. I do this more often. There's not a diss on my childhood or anything like that. Just had a spoiling grandma. Anyway,
I don't know how it would be if I would go see my grandma. I mean, I would be, I don't know. She wasn't that spoiling. It was just, I would be less spoiled. My parents didn't necessarily spoil me, but I got what I wanted, I guess, and needed. And so they were,
maybe
always had
maybe your
good
grandma had
gifts.
different values about what need was.
Yeah.
Happens. Both my grandmas were pretty well spoilers. So I probably would have gotten away with murder at either ones, quite honestly. But that's also because I was a good kid. They never had any reason to like. It wasn't like other siblings and stuff. Like I never gave them a reason to get upset with me, and they just spoiled me because of it. I was a good kid.
All right, number 10, Lady How Lady Waza.
I don't think we ever. I say Waza, but I'd
I
have
think
no.
Waza is the most correct. I think I can get it. Sorry, Virginia, when I'm
If
mispronouncing it.
anybody out there has this as your name, we are so sorry.
Yes, very sorry. So if you guys don't know, Lady Huaza, she is from the Kyoshi novel, specifically from Shadow of Kyoshi. She was kind of one of the main antagonists in it. She is the mother. So the whole kind of story of Rise of Kyoshi, Shadow of Kyoshi, sorry, was that there was like this conflict in the Fire Nation, a whole Game of Thrones-ish like battle for the crown of the Fire Lord through some political means. The previous Fire Lord, he had a son. He became Fire Lord. I think his name was Zoryu, Fire Lord Zoryu. But he was really weak and really timid and a weakling and everything. But the Fire Lord also had a few mistresses, but he had a specific mistress, Lady Huaza, who was like a high-ranking family, and he actually loved her. Like they actually loved each other. I mean, he loved his other wife, the Fire Lady as well, but he loved Lady Huaza. But to not disrespect her, also she was a high-ranking family, not to disrespect the family, he legitimized his bastard, and so his bastard's actually older than Zoryu, the Fire Lord, and so there's this whole like claim to the throne thing going on that they have to kind of squash. So I think Lady Waza is we're getting to the point where I think she's actually a fairly good mother. Like even though she's the antagonist in Shadow of Kyoshi, I don't remember her doing anything like really villainous.
She wasn't.
Like,
She might be politically not like our favorite person as an antagonist, but I don't know. She had a good
like,
relationship with her son.
yeah, and yeah, she had a great relationship with her son, which that's what we're judging here. Um,
Maybe her
and
son
and the
grew up
thing
to be
is
kind of a
that
prick, but like I don't know.
oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
But
true.
we've also had worse antagonists, and like the dude. The thing about that story is that he has, I don't want to say some claim, but he, like, it's easy to empathize with his cause. So
Hmm.
even though he is being a prick, it's hard not to be like, you know what, I get.
Yeah, because one thing, the Zoryu is weak. He is.
Yeah.
Um, he has no. He feel like he has no power. Even when I forgot his name, the bastard. Like he can so easily manipulate Zoryu. Like he has that feeling that of being the Fire Lord. He has that presence, while Zoryu doesn't. And doesn't seem like he can actually rule all that well. Like he's not like Prince Wu, where it's just like, all right, this is an incompetent idiot. But to me, both of their claims to the throne. One thing to me, bloodline shouldn't make as big of a difference as who would be the better ruler. And to me, both their claims to the throne was fairly fine. And so I don't. It's not that I don't know, I empathize with them. Like I'm not gonna be like you're a villain. She wasn't to me technically a big villain. She was an antagonist, sure, and she probably did this for more
Ooh,
selfish reasons.
that's a
But
good call there. It's she can be an antagonist without being a villain. I dig that.
yeah, well, she didn't do. I don't remember them doing
What are they?
anything
They
like
like poison some
downright.
fields on the hillside,
Yeah,
and that's about as bad as it gets. Like, okay, so she's a bad neighbor. All right. No, she is the antagonist. I'm not trying to overturn. I'm not a
yeah,
literary thinker quite like that. But I like this pick here. I like that you've got a quote unquote antagonist of a story,
yeah.
ranking higher up above these other legitimately worse moms.
Yeah, and I do think you do empathize with her. She tells Kyoshi her backstory. She was like, "Yeah, I mean, the Farlow were in love, and then one day he met with like some council, and that day he kind of broke up with me, and because politically it would have been better if he married this other woman, and then she ended up naming her son like after some name that should have been Lady Hausal's name, but she like stupidly, or not stupidly, she blissfully ignorantly named her son in a disrespectful manner to something Lady Haza could have named her son, something to that effect. And so to me, Lady Haza comes off a lot more, I don't know, sympathetic than I don't know, your typical antagonist.
Yeah, I'm game. I like that pick.
Number nine, Ursa. This is really interesting. So I think Ursa is a fairly good mother. She does, she does leave her kids. Oh, also before anyone says anything, there's been like this like small little segment of fandom who's like Azula deserves such a better mother than Ursa. Like some of them think Ursa hated Azula for some reason. They're like Ursa called Azula.
Are those
Ursa
the same
thought
people that like model their relationship off of Harley Quinn and Joker? Is it the same
probably.
group of people?
Yeah, you know how that bothers me. Because they're like Ursa thought Azula was a monster. Like she never said that. Like Azula said, my own mother thought I was a monster. But like you can't take
Kids
Azula's
say crap
word.
all the time. Teenagers say crap all the time. I'm not gonna take that word as law.
Yeah.
We all thought our parents treated us like we were monsters from time to time, and she's loud, so she said it out loud, and she's probably wrong.
Yeah. So a couple things in Ursa's favor here. Um, first of all, Ursa was in probably the most abusive relationship we see in the show. Like, if they wanted to be more adult, they could have got way more adult with it because you can insinuate that it's an assault that's happening. This whole relationship is an assault. She didn't want to marry the Fire Lord. She was already engaged to Akeem. Like they forced, heavily emphasis on that word, to into this marriage. Um, Actually, specifically because to bear children who Fire Lord, the Fire Lord, Sozin, not Fire Lord Sozin, Fire Lord Zulon, was like, oh yeah, you're the descendant of Roku. You guys have some powerful kids. Like and so she was forced into this marriage, but she still loved both her children. When that night when she was conspiring with Fire Lord Ozai to kill his father, she was like, I'm taking the kids. I'm taking both. She said both kids. He was like, no. She did. She wasn't like, but
She's
I'm
like,
taking. It
I'm
wasn't like
taking
some
the one I
negotiation.
like.
Yeah, it wasn't like some negotiation thing where she was like, "I'm taking both kids." He was like, "No," and she was like, "All right, just Zuko." It was.
Just
It
the
wasn't like,
top part.
yeah, just like that. Um, she said, "I'm taking both kids," and Fire Lord Ozai said no because he's going to use them as a as bargaining for her. Like if she ever came back, like he would threaten to kill them. Um, and so also another thing. So before we see in the show, before she leaves, like she goes to Zuko's bed and she's like, she kisses him and then he wakes up and then she's like, Zuko, like everything I did it for you. Like I love you. Just remember who you are. Before that, before she goes to Zuko's room, she goes to Azula's room, kisses her goodbye, but Azula doesn't wake up, which is really interesting. Like, what if Azula woke up? Like, that would have informed that character. I think it wouldn't have changed that much, but it would have provided her a little bit more insight that her mother loved her.
Just to wonder about what she would have said to her in conversation, at least. Yeah, that would have been
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Now, the bad thing that Ursa did. So Ursa left. So far, Ursa, great mother. So far. The bad thing that I'm going to hold against her, which is why she's ranked this low, is that she went to the Mother of Faces, who was ranked number 15, and
I kind of forgotten.
and Mother of Faces said, "I can give you a new face, and I can give you new memories." And the, and Ursa, she hurt so bad she wanted to forget. I mean, she was like, "You got to forget it all. You got to forget your kids. You got to forget everything." And so Ursa purposely forgot her own children. That's, I think, a little messed up. Like to forget, I get that the pain of being away from them is so much, but
It's a little
that's
whack.
that's a little much. Yeah.
I think that's a fair doc. And then even in the abusive relationship, don't ever stay in an abusive relationship. But obviously, you wouldn't want to leave your kids in an abusive home either. So yeah, this is a tough.
No. Well, I don't think she had a
There's
choice in
no,
that matter.
there's
Like
no.
she
Yeah,
wasn't she
that's my
wasn't about
point.
to overpower
Yeah,
the
there's
flower.
no winning there. So even if you want to dock a
Yeah.
little bit for leaving or not at all, I could see it either way.
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of women in real life feel like they can't leave their abusive husbands, and then you can call the cops on them. You can get restraining order. She can't get that. He's the fire lord. Like there's nothing she can't do anything. He is the law above all other laws.
Call the Daily. No, there's no win in there for sure. But
Yeah,
sorry, Ursa,
but don't forget him. Don't forget him, Ursa.
that hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, she's also the mother of Ikki. Not Ikki. Kiki. That's her name.
Kiki.
And she's a fairly good mother to Kiki,
In
which was
what
really
tiny bit we
interesting.
see, I
Yeah,
suppose.
one time. Yeah. It was a really interesting part of the story where, Ursa's face changes back to her real face, and Kiki is like, I don't know, like she's so kind of removed from her. Which I mean that, you get your old memories back in a new face. That changes who you are. Like your memories make, you are who you are because of your memories and part of your genetics. Um, but memories is a big part of that. But eventually, Kiki comes around. Anyway, number 8, Graham Graham.
This one hurt a little bit to put any sweet old Graham down this low. But
I just
speak
don't.
testament to the quality that we're getting into here. Good moms in the show.
Yeah. Graham Graham. She's I put her in here mostly because of her time as a grandmother. She raised Sokka and Katara essentially. She believed in them enough to to uh to let them go off and save the world,
Without
which
really
almost sounds
asking a whole lot of questions, she's just like, yeah, all
almost
right.
sounds like a bad mom. Like, there you go.
But
I
she's
know
old
you're.
enough that like if she still held belief in the Avatar and like maybe the real parents wouldn't have, but Graham Graham's like, no, I remember this. This is a good idea. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It
Uh,
hurts to see any sweet old grandma down this low on the list. I,
other ones, we didn't even talk about Toph as a grandma. She seemed to be a pretty good grandma. Fairly like um Opal loved her a lot. By that point, they reconciled. But anyway,
More opportunities to touch on Topha's grandma later in the list, I imagine,
yeah,
potentially.
yeah,
So yeah, sorry, Graham, but you were good for what you did, but you did let your small teenage children just go try to save the world, which is maybe frowned upon. But
they almost died a lot of times.
they almost died numerous times, and they were by other people that died and almost died numerous times.
Yeah.
Number 7 is Katara.
Yeah, this might be. I mean, I feel like there's like guitar fans and be like, wait, what? Number 7? This is a more of a product of we don't have as much information about Katara to help us out. I do think she probably tried to help out with the shortcomings that Aang had as a father. I think Aang was a fairly decent, good enough father, but he definitely had some shortcomings, no doubt about that. The thing most about Katara's mother, the scene the most that I think about when I think about how good of a mother she was, is when she encourages Tenzin to take Kaya and Bumi with him on on their vacation, whatever, because she's like, you gotta cherish this time with your kid, with your siblings, because as soon as you know, it'll be up. I just thought that was some really good motherly advice, and it was such to me that's so real for mothers to be like, I just want my kids to all be together. Like my family's visiting next week. At first it was just gonna be my mom and dad, Then it was like my mom, dad, and my niece. Then it was my mom, dad, my niece, and my sister. Then it was my mom, dad, my niece, my sister, and my other niece. And now it's my mom, two sisters, one niece. They took off a niece because there's not enough room in the car. But
She didn't make the
it's
cut.
a
Sorry,
yeah.
kid.
It's but I'm sure like there's been some times that my mom, I know she just wants us all together. So I mean, I'm still missing one other sister. Technically two other sisters, but
I'd say the same. My mom always that's like we always ask her what she wants for Christmas. She always gives that cheesy line of "I just want everybody to be in the house." And be like, okay, but we still have to like buy you something. We
yeah.
agree. But yeah, that's a really nice small example. Even if we don't get a lot of other tangible evidence, it's hard to imagine Katara not like being a good
I'm
mom, but
sure.
just
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
minimalist.
One
Uh,
thing that I love about Katara is that she was also kind of a mother to Sokka in a weird way, right? We know she has these motherly good tendencies. Like one of my favorite lines in Avatar, I say that all the time about lines. Um, one of my favorite Sokka lines is when Sokka's talking to Toph and uh and they're having this one-on-one after Toph and Katara got in that fight. And Sokka's like, yeah, Katara can be pushy and shovey and all up in your face and your business and stuff, but I rely on that. Like, what do you say? He says, Katara's always been there for me. She's been like a mother to me. When I try to think about how my mother looks, all I see is Katara. Like that's such a sad line and
Why
on so
gotta
many
make me feel
levels, but
feelings right
also,
now at 10:55 on a Friday night? Gotta make me feel feelings.
but also such a good line for Sokka to understand just how important Katara is. So Katara, without a doubt, I know, I might be a little biased, but from what we get, but I know she has more of those motherly tendencies, and I know that she was probably a great mother. Just wish I had more background on that to support her and put her higher, because she could definitely be higher, on this list.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's like we're getting into a territory where a lot of them are tough to place just based on content. So
Yeah. Number six, Sela. She is, if you don't know who Sela is, we have to look up this name, honestly. She is the mother from Zuko alone. And so I really wanted to put her in here because I feel like she was a good mother, because not only did she, look after her son, um, while she was trying to battle, while she was trying to kind of hold this family together, right? Like her oldest son went off to war. He's probably dead. And, she was welcoming in this new person into her life. Like she was fully welcoming it. Like they were wanting him to stay. Like she was offering Zuko to stay with them. Also, a lot of people hate her for some reason. Well, I know the reason why. At the end of the episode, Zuko beats Gao, I think was his name. And he's like, I am Prince of the Fire Nation, heir to the throne,
these
mother of son of Ursa and Fire Lord Ozai. He's stupidly saying he heads the
caught him
Fire Nation.
monologuing is what happened.
Yeah. Um, and like she's protecting her son, right? Which that's what a mother should do, protect her children. Like Zuko is the firebender. He's the son of the like if you try to imagine if a random Earth being citizen tries to imagine the Fire Lord in their head, just like Aang did, like you imagine like the toughest, baddest person. This is the son, and he just beat this bully with firebending and swords. Like he's scary. Like the Fire Nation is what's been ripping these families apart. And she's like, don't come close to him. A lot of people hate her in that moment because they're like, oh, Zuko just saved your son. Like, no, the biggest threat here is actually Zuko to them.
Big picture, whether I wanted to or not, it's how I would react. I said no, whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, it's what I would do because yeah, holy shit, here he is.
Yeah. He's
um,
over here he's over here bragging about being the son of the guy who's solely
well,
responsible.
for my son being on the front lines over here somewhere, probably dead.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so it's like I said, whether or not it's right or wrong, it's what I would do, and as a parent, I think it's what I would do. I mean, they had a nice relationship, but you still ain't known this kid for a couple of days,
Yeah.
So yeah, no qualms in that action from me realistically.
Yeah. So number 5 is Senna, which is Korra's mother. Um, Senna. This was one. Senna probably could have been maybe a little bit lower. Now I think about it, because we see her in the show. She's a great mother.
I have very
Uh,
little experience in the show to this point, just being near the end of chapter book 2.
well,
So I
I
haven't
think
seen a
I
ton of
think
her
I think
yet.
you've gotten the gist of of her. Um, she, her and Tanrock did lie to Korra, kind of a lot. I mean, they did it to protect her, because Korra was kidnapped at the age of 4, and like so they just wanted Korra. So
Yeah,
that
but
probably
so even that part, what you're saying, that's not until book 3, like when they have those discussions and stuff, right? Like all I see it to
true.
this point is just protective. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying is I have to kind of stay out of this one because I
All right.
don't remember enough. I have no opinion
Uh,
here.
so I mean, they kind of lied to Korra, saying that Avatar Aang wanted her to stay in the South Pole. No, Aang didn't want that. Like they wanted that to protect Korra. Um, and also Senna has a good line of like Korra asked her like, why didn't you and Dad, like, I don't know, trying to fight for the throne and stuff? And she's like, me and Dad just wanted like a normal life. And then that went out the window. We had you, the Avatar.
You ruined
um,
everything.
yeah. So honestly, I probably could have put her a little bit low. I probably would have put, but to me, her and Korra, I just see so much of their relationship together. Um, and and Korra seems to show really nothing but love
I don't know if
for
you
for
said
Senna. For Senna.
anything that makes me feel like it would be lower. Like the lying there can maybe a little overprotective to not just tell the truth part of it, but
Mhm.
good intentions, good ends. In this case, it worked.
Yeah.
Again, is it what I would do? Maybe whatever I had to say to get
Um,
my kid down south.
but yeah, Senna seems like a really good mother. And to me, there's like I said before, there's a lot of great mother-daughter moments with her. And one thing I love is that you don't really see that often with the main protagonist. I think in any medium, well, you often don't see main protagonists with their parents in much mediums. For some reason, parents dying and parents being terrible parents is like a constant story trope. Like
That's
whether
fair.
you're looking at like superheroes, like Batman doesn't.
Well, there's no need to get upset at your phone. Hey, look, there's there's Chris from a different angle. I
Like Batman doesn't have parents. Like it's such a common thing. And what the heck?
I yeah, I think maybe bad parenting is just the inspiration for a lot of stories. I don't know what's going on now. Chris is just throwing his phone. Hey, Superman has good parents and good adoptive parents, so he's kind of two for two.
I mean, yeah, but like parents are missing oftentimes.
That's true. There's
That was
okay. That's fair. Yeah.
okay. I think I'm good now.
Stop throwing your phone, man. That ain't even nice. Um. Yeah, that's a common theme, especially in Disney movies. Don't want to be a parent in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
It's never a good time. That's Senna. Ready for number 4?
Number 4 is Hey Ron. So me and Sean discussed this before. Hey Ron is from the Kyoshi novels. She's the mother of Rongi, which is Kyoshi's love interest partner. I mean, you get people
Yeah,
know
love
probably by now.
interest. Yeah.
Um, um, and Hey Ron is my favorite mother on this list,
Two
and I
out of
think yeah.
two random podcast hosts agree. I wanted to give her an award or a sticker or something, then I ran out of time and I'm very lazy. But she does so many, like she is clearly flawed and she demonstrates his flaws. And the
Mm.
books have the novelty of maybe elaborating on some of these relationships in just a little more depth and detail. But she does so many sick things as a mom, especially in the context of like her position and abilities and power and things like that. Especially in that context, that she can still do a lot of sick mom stuff and have a good relationship with her daughter and her daughter's love interest or partner or
Yes.
significant other, whatever you want to call it, is astounding to me. So she is an easy favorite. I was very sad to see her here, but I get the rationale. Wouldn't change it. Just want to give her a high five.
Yeah. My favorite Heyron scene has no action in it. Well, I think we talked about this before. Kyoshi and Rangi just had a huge argument. Like it was a massive argument.
Like everybody worried about the breakup argument.
Yes, exactly. And Kyoshi, I think is it was really great. Kyoshi, and I was it's like in the mind of Kyoshi. Kyoshi is almost like bawling, crying, like because like Rangi is so mad at me, like we're gonna break up and stuff. And I think it reads like, oh yeah, because at this point in the story, so uh, Kyoshi just kind of used Rangi as bait for a villain, and I'm sorry, Kyoshi just used Heiron as bait, and in that fight, I'm sorry, Heiron's throat gets hurt to where she can't talk, and so she's using chalk to write. So, all right, anyway, let's paint the scene again. Rangi just rushed out the door. Kyoshi's in tears, crying. Like imagine Kyoshi, the BA avatar that we all know, is just like crying her heart out. And then the passage reads like, and a piece of chalk hits Kyoshi in the head thrown from across the room. And then like Heiron is writing on the chalk 'cause she can't talk, like, calm down. She's fine. She's gonna forgive you. Like, and then Kyoshi just like sobbing, like, but what if she doesn't? And Heiron's like, don't worry. Like, my daughter loves you. Like, you know, and I think this is one moment that she says like, you're part of my family also. Like, don't worry. Rongi's gonna come in at some point, say something rude, but she'll forgive you like in a couple of days. Don't worry.
Something to do
And
with
then like
food. They mentioned eating a bowl of rice or something. I forget how
yeah,
it goes.
so then a constant thing about Rongi is that uh Rongi is always getting on Kyoshi about eating right and also doing training. And at this point, I think Kyoshi hasn't eaten like all day. And then like a second later, like Rongi breaks into the room and like, here, I made you some noodles. and and she throws them on the floor. And then Kyoshi gets up and like eats them. And then it reads like they had no fire like in this place. And so Rongi like handmade these noodles. And but they were like unflavored or anything. And Kyoshi like Gin picks up the noodles and starts eating them, and then Heiron puts like, "See, it only took you like a day. Like, like she loves you." And then it says like Kyoshi then ate the noodles. And it was the best thing she's ever eaten before because she knew that Rangi was like going to forgive her and that everything was going to be fine between them two.
The most important scene, as far as mom is concerned, is if they would have listened to mom, they would have caught the bastard. But they went soft.
They did go that.
Listen to mom. Okay, I know she would have died, but that's
She would have
beside the
done.
point. She was in on it.
I
It's
I do not think Rangi would have forgiven Kyoshi if her mother died.
yeah, but mom was still right technically. Listen to mom. That still pisses me off to this day. Like that would have made a way more. I don't know. I mean, it would have made a shorter
So
book, but how sick would that have been?
part of me, remember when we were like trying to theorize how Rise of Shadow of Kyoshi was gonna go. Like I
Yeah.
theorized that like I knew it was in the Fire Nation. I theorized that Rangi would like eventually take over the throne through whatever means, and like her and Kyoshi may come in conflict with each other, or her and Kyoshi wouldn't be able to be together because Rangi is now the Fire Lord, and like their responsibilities would have just torn each other apart.
Hmm?
So like to me,
I
there was
was
actually
I
a really
was
good.
leaning more toward the first, as it was gonna flip to a conflict.
Yeah, all of that would have either one of those would have made for like a really good story, probably a better story, honestly, I think, than we got from
Maybe,
the
but I would have
book.
liked it less because of feelings.
Exactly, Sean. I would have liked it less. I'd rather have this ending with them because I did not want them to split up. Like they're the best couple, I think, in all of Avatar.
They might be. They are. We just you get a little more depth into their specific relationship, and it's great, and I love it. And especially knowing what we got now, yeah, I wouldn't. I'm glad we were wrong. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Number three is Pema. There's absolutely nothing bad to say about Pema, I don't think. She she has like four of them raising these kids. Look, I got three kids. It's some days some days my patience gets short and I have good kids. Like they're fairly well behaved. They're not airbenders running around. They're not Milo fart airbending around here. She has four kids, and it can't be hard. It can't be easy to raise because they have very distinct personalities. They can come into conflict with each other, and they fight. And when kids fight, Sean, it's so annoying. So annoying when they fight because it's just like there's no real logical reason for you guys to be fighting right now. Like, why can't you guys just be adults? Because you're not adults. You're
I've been
kids.
around my nephews long enough to hear a pointless fight spring up over a French fry. I've been there.
Like we'll be playing a game. Like me and my sister, me and my daughter be playing the game, and like my son kind of gets in on it, but he says something that's not like he breaks the rules of the game, even though he's not even playing the game. And my daughter's like, "No, that's not how it goes." I'm like, "Kenzie, it doesn't matter. Like, why stop arguing? He's having fun just in his own head. Like, it doesn't matter that he's
He's a tiny person who doesn't read rules yet.
yeah." But so Pima, great mother. I think she supports her children in the best of ways. She she also made Milo like those little cakes, and she's just a nice, very nice mother. There's nothing bad I think at all to say about Pima.
Yeah, she's got a lot of I don't know, like the classic mom traits where there's some mom comedy and things like that.
Yes,
I don't know if modern mom's the right way to call it because she's not really a modern mom in that sense, but she like resembles a very relatable form of a mom to me.
yeah. And did we rank Tenzin number one in our dads? Well, I know we ranked him high. He might have been number one.
Two, I don't remember now.
Okay,
How did
but
we
either way,
rank her?
he's
How
either
did
in one or two.
I don't remember now. But yeah, he was one or two for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't remember which
So
one.
them two, I think, are definitely the best parents we see in all of Avatar. That combo there.
They are, and they're adorable as heck. Number two,
Kaya.
should have done a drum
That's,
roll. I don't know what I was. Sean, what am I thinking?
okay. Man, they might not know who number one is still. They might still be like going through mothers.
I wouldn't have. I
Uh,
had to do a lot of googling.
Haru's mother could be in this list. No, I'm kidding.
Bruce,
I thought about putting Haru's mother in here, but when I looked her name up, she was listed as Haru's mother. I thought, okay, that's not
that's
a.
tough to that's tough to rationalize. At least the mother of faces got a name. It's a weird one, but
But the thing is, mother. Uh, both have moms in their title, but hers is like way more. I don't know,
mother of
official. The
faces
mother
refer to
of
herself in the
faces.
third person.
Yeah, that's not. That's not like she's the mother of Ko. That's not her. That's not how she's referred to. It's the mother of faces.
It's a title. It's a proper.
Okay, so I have Kaya ranked this high. We don't really see that much of her. I mean, we understand that she was a good mother, even from some of the flashbacks. We see she's a good mother. But what puts her up this high is that she sacrificed herself for, for her daughter Katara. I know the other ones would do it too, but they didn't do it, and Kaya did, and she
It's
sacrificed
almost
her
like
life.
a weighted paper, right? Like we're only seeing one small example of one good motherly thing. It's just that it's the best, most badass mom thing that you could possibly do.
Yeah. Do you have any? Yeah, there's not that much to say about Kaya, really.
She, yeah, I wish we had a little more to go off of, but she died young, and it's tragic, and sometimes mystery is
Mm.
intriguing. Uh, wish we had more, of course, but yeah, when the only piece of evidence, tangible evidence you really have is like A++ caliber. Um, you know, what else? What else do you do? So,
Yeah.
thanks, Kaya. You did great.
So who could be
Oh,
number one
I
is
already
Sweet.
ruined it. Damn
It's
it!
okay.
I didn't know you were
It's
going for a lead in. I ruined everything.
it's okay. It is Su Yin Beifong. First of all, Su Yin Beifong is just life goals, right? Like she, to me, she's the person to really aspire to be like. And you can just look at one quote of hers. She's like, "Oh well, I'm a entrepreneur. I'm a leader in my own state of governance. I'm a collector of meteorites. I'm a dancer. I'm a wife. I'm a mother." Like she she's work-life balance goals. She has it figured out, which is interesting seeing how she was raised. She is the mother of, geez, how many kids she has? She has Batar Jr., she has the two twins, she has, I think his name is Juan, and she has Opal. And she's like the one person who talks about like motherhood is great, like, oh, my children are a blessing. Like she seems like a really good mom to all her kids. Like she supports them, she really encourages them to come up with new things, to find their own destiny. Um, she was a little bit apprehensive of not letting Opal travel, but that was like a day of being apprehensive to it. Which, honestly, all mothers don't want their kids to leave far. Which that's understandable. That's just more of a sign that you love your kids. Um, Also, she is sort of an adopted mother of Kuvira. Kuvira has some terrible parents. Oh, in fact, we didn't mention Kuvira's parents. One thing, they don't really have names, but they're in the comics.
Mother of Kuvira
They
just don't ring right.
Yeah. Uh, Kuvira was in the flashbacks in the comics of Ruins of Empire. You see Kuvira as a child. Even as a child, she was like really demanding. She was I don't know, breaking toys, hurting people all the time. She was hard to raise. And so her parents was like, we can't deal with this anymore. Like there's this metal bender master in the city who says that she can take you. Whatever. We can't deal with you. And so they just give her to Su Yin. And Su
That's number
Yin,
16 material at its finest, right there.
yeah. Like you gotta try. You gotta so Su Yin took in Kuvira and she and this is sort of a retcon, I think, in this because she really treated her like a daughter. Like even when she's talking, there's a flashback of Opal playing with this metal playhouse, and Kuvira comes in there and she's like, I want to play, and then Opal's like, no, and then Kuvira just metal bends it. Um, which is actually pretty cool that she could metal bend at such an early age. I didn't think about that. Um, and she metal bends it and breaks it, and then Suyin comes in. She kind of breaks up the fight, and then Suyin says something like really like, um, actually I'm gonna grab my book, so I put them here. Which one is it? Sorry, book 3. Okay, book 2. Here, nope, that's the last one. That's book 3. Sorry, I'm gonna read something from Empire because it just goes to how good of a mother Suyin is. So, sorry, I'm going to these small books. Oh wait, it's in book 3. That just had. I don't know. Ah man, there's a passage in Ruins of the Empire. So Asami was just like brainwashed, right? And like they're kind of in between this battle, but she finally gets unbrainwashed. And like the first thing that's on Korra's mind is to like have sex. Really, that's what. So they're like in a bedroom, and And like, yeah, Simon just got brainwashed. Bolin and Maku are still brainwashed. They have to like go to this fortress to take down this other guy. But Korra's just like they're in the bedroom. Korra's like, all right, let's put. They're talking about it, and Korra's like, let's just put this all behind us, okay? And then she's like, if you say so. And then Korra's like leading her to the bed, and then there's a knock on the door. It's like knock knock, and Korra's like, you gotta be kidding me. Who is it? And then Su Yin walks in.
I hung a tie on the door, Su Yin. Come on.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, back to what I was looking for. Okay, so uh Su Yan says to Kuvira, like she's being a good parent. She says to Kuvira, like, if you don't learn to control your violent impulses, you're going to hurt someone in this family the way you hurt your mother. Do you understand? Like she's being more motherly. She's not coming down on Kuvira, which you at first I thought was gonna happen, right? Because the mother like comes down on her like you should have done this. Like she's trying to reach her in a sense. And Kuvira is not her blood daughter. Like Su Yin took it upon herself to raise her. And at the end of the book, Kuvira ends up. They kind of have some type of reconciliation there, and 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 they have like a really good, I don't know, moment. Even Su Yin apologizes Kuvira. Um, she says, "I owe you an apology, Kuvira," and Kuvira's like, "What are you talking about?" She says, "I can't help but think that if I had been a better mentor, a better mother, I could have guided you on a more appropriate path." So first of all, I think it's good as a mother to recognize that you could be better, even if you even if you're actually really good. Because sometimes, I mean, I know that I could be a better father, and I think I'm a great father. I think it's the best thing that I do, but I know that I have shortcomings. And then Kuvira says, "You took me in when I was a wild, arrogant little girl and cared for me when no one else did. There were so many times over the years when you could have abandoned me, but you never did, not even when I was at my worst. So you have nothing to apologize for. I'm the one who is sorry. I never fully appreciated what an amazing, selfless mother you are." So this is coming from Kuvira here. And then they kind of hug. Um, but so to me, that that settled that to me that the Kuvira was a really good mother. I have nothing bad to say about Kuvira. I think she goes above and beyond. Not Kuvira, Suyin. Sorry, that's settled it for Suyin for me. That Suyin goes above and beyond as a mother to make her children feel welcome. Even the child who was a problem child. Even Batar Jr. She ended up forgiving Batar Jr. and reconciliation is always good. So I thought today the reason why she welcomed in uh, Kuvira so quickly is that Su Yin was like that, right? So Toph was like, "Whatever, I can't deal with you. Like, you gotta go stay with your mom. You gotta go stay with your grandma." And so that same thing happened to Su Yin, right? Toph couldn't deal with her the same way that Kuvira's parents couldn't deal with her. Um, and Su Yin probably saw herself a lot in Kuvira.
I have nothing to append because to this point I have not seen Su Yin on my second watch through, and I do not read the comics this far. Most of what you're saying, for what it's worth, most of what you're saying strikes my memory. I recognize that I have seen it, and it seems like a great pick. Uh, very useless at this point of the conversation. Um, what'd you say? You said it's like a work life balance, mom goals. She seems like
Yeah,
she's got that down. I think I would. What's the son's name?
Batar Jr.
Batar Junior. It seems a little shameful that like two of the people that she would consider her children become again maybe more antagonists than villains if you consider their actions empathizable,
Oh,
if you
think
consider. And so
I fully side with Kuvira up to a certain point
uh
because she did stabilize the Earth Kingdom, which
yeah,
we'll get into. Um, and Prince Wu is an idiot.
So if we, so if we consider the cause an empathetic cause at least, then maybe it's not such a big deal. So yeah, like I said, I really couldn't put up a fight pro or against. As we mentioned, we have a lot of good moms with a lot less to go on than what you've presented here. So I no qualms. I mean, I like her headdress thing there. That's pretty neat. It's your mom who's styling. Looking forward to getting to that season, to that fourth season. Pardon me, that fourth book, and getting back to that one. It's been a long time.
Yeah, she comes in season 3. Probably I think episode 7 of season 3, the Metal Clan, which is like one of my, maybe it's episode 6. It's one of my favorite episodes.
I think
Wait,
I
no, not the
just
Metal Clan. Sorry, Metal Clan comes in like episode 5.
I'm to the Metal Clan. I haven't watched that one yet. In my like watching and get my PowerPoints down. I haven't watched the Metal Clan yet, but I'm up to that one.
Oh, okay.
Love the start of season of book 3. By the way, early book
Oh,
3 is
it's
excellent. Yeah, it's
book
great.
3 is so good.
Spoiler alert. Chris, final thoughts on moms. Where would you rank the mother moose lion? Where's Mama Moose Lion? She's like an
Let's
8 or
see.
9 pick to me.
She's above, yeah, she's above top.
But uh,
uh,
little aggressive for my taste, and clearly abandoned her child to get to be alone there to start with. But
I mean, hey, like, how old were you when you were just walking around the neighborhood by yourself? I was like 8.
I didn't have a neighborhood, Chris. I don't have that experience.
Oh, yeah.
Just walking around a pasture alone, I guess. I don't know.
Jeez.
I was in far more danger of like breaking my leg in a hole than I was of being kidnapped. Let's put it that way.
Okay, but that's good, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Mother Moose Lion, 8 or 9 in there. She's good mom. Maybe. I'm still trying to think of if we forgot like any sort of high impact.
I went through all the characters, but let us know if we missed one. I can't think of one.
I got nothing. I wonder what Iroh's wife was like.
Don't know. We never seen
Never
or
a
heard.
thing. Yeah.
Don't know a name or anything about Iroh's wife.
And she didn't even reach Nirvana with him. That's a shame.
Yeah. I assume Iroh loved her. I assume it wasn't arranged marriage, like the one that was for Fire Lord Ozai and Ursa.
Yeah.
And I assume she just died early because I feel like Iroh had nothing to live for after Luten died until he found kind of Zuko as a last member.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I would buy that theory, but okay. Well, that's our Mother's Day special, ranking the best moms in Avatar. At least the 15 / mostly 14 that we could think of. Chris, thanks for doing literally all of the legwork.
I feel like I talk way too much this episode.
I don't want to talk when I don't know, and there's a lot.
Smart.
Comics packed a lot more punch for this than they usually do in these discussions. At least it felt like it to me, and so I don't have that wisdom there.
Comics and the books, yeah.
The books, I'm glad we got to leverage the books a lot more. I feel like we didn't maybe get to do that as much in our dad's episode, but it might just be a bias for Heyron, who is great.
I was like, you know what? I gotta have it because anytime I think about Avatar moms, I immediately go to Heyron.
I got a Heyron.
Like, all right, gotta have Heyron in here, which made me forcefully put Lady Huazu in it.
Common thing between Heyron and Suyin is just the general badassness as a human. Like first, not first, but general badassness,
which is
pumped with being a sick mom.
Yeah, which is so cool because you don't see in fantasy oftentimes mothers being like the BA.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, or when it does happen, it maybe is a little too on the nose, or it's the purpose of the whole show. But here, it just is sort of a naturally blended character that feels right and not too on the nose or not not unnoticed either. So I like that a lot. Just it's a natural blend. It's how it's supposed to be. It fits. It works. Yeah. Hey. Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers and aspiring mothers out there. And that's all I got to say. I'll go call your moms. Don't text your moms. Maybe that's my word of advice. Call your moms and your mother figures Pick up the phone, dial the actual numbers, let them hear your voice. They'll like that.
Tell them you love them.
Tell them you love them. Okay, that's our episode. My name's Sean Shaler. That's Chris Ford, a.k.a. The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter semi-fame. Regular fame. You've graduated. I don't know why I go back to that sometimes.
Semi's good.
This Avatar The Last Podcaster's Mother's Day special. We'll be back next week with regularly scheduled programming. Be sure to check us out at last_podcasters on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.com/Avatar The Last Podcasters. Thank you so much. We will see you next time.